Hello and welcome to Rosberry Crafts, my YouTube channel where I share all my crafty adventures. Today is October 24th, 2024, and this is episode 112. My name is Roz and I live in Lake Country, British Columbia, Canada, with my husband and my two kids who are 14 and 12. What else do I say? Oh, welcome. My notes are down here today. Welcome to any new viewers. I really appreciate you giving me a try. Hope you enjoy. And thank you very much for all my returning viewers. I know it's been a couple weeks and I'm still trying to figure out this whole, new school schedule thing, but I'm still here, so that's good. If you would like to support the podcast, you can donate on my Ko-fi account, which is linked down below. You can interact with me in the comments here. You can interact with me on Ravelry or Instagram. All of those links and what my username is all linked down below in this video, as well as my email if you want to reach out to me. Gosh, that was awkward. All right, today for you, I have What Am I Wearing? Finished objects, works in progress, stash, events, and some books. Let's get started, shall we? What am I wearing? Today I am wearing my first finished object. So it's a cowl. It looks like a triangular shawl, but it is actually a cowl. I'm not going to take it off because it would bump the mic, but trust me, it is a cowl. But it does have this beautiful triangle in the front, which is something that I really enjoy about a triangle shawl. Having this kind of V in the front, I think is a flattering shape. This pattern is called Secret Skein, and it's by Stephanie Lotvin. And a well-written pattern. You could easily modify it to be longer if you wanted, or with a different weight of yarn. There is a fly flying around in here and it's driving me crazy. And it's right there. I'm going to try not to get distracted by it. The yarn that I used for this cowl is Flock Fiber Studios in their Lone Pine Singles. So it is a single ply yarn, and I've had it in my stash for a long time, and I just wasn't sure what to use it for because single ply wouldn't necessarily hold up as well as a plied yarn for something like hats or something that gets a lot of friction. But a single skein I don't enjoy that type of shawl. I don't find it big enough to wear in the way that I wear them. So cowl is perfect. And this, I have to say, turned out perfectly. I still have 28 grams of it left after doing this. So I could have gone longer. However, I find if they go much past, so it just comes down past kind of my breastbone area here. And if it goes much longer than that, I find that it gets it dips into things when I'm trying to do, making stuff in the kitchen, or kind of gets in the way when you sit down. So definitely enjoying the perfect length, and it is super duper warm. And the color, sorry, I forgot the color of the yarn is called Blueberry Girl, but it is blues and purples, my favorite colors, mixed together. So I am very happy with this. It just came off the blocking mats this morning. So I just love it. So let's move on to finished objects. I have one other finished object this week, and if you've been watching my previous episodes, you probably have guessed I finished my Asunder shawl. And also, it was hiding in the back behind me. But it's so pretty. Oh, hopefully that is zooming in on what it's supposed to be zooming in on. This pattern is Asunder by Lisa Much, and oh, there goes the colors. It was a well-written pattern. I enjoy her writing style a lot. It's very clear. Again, I could have made this longer just by continuing on where the stitch pattern, yeah, so it's an elongated crescent. So it does have kind of these wings to each side of it, but that way it doesn't get too deep. And I'll put in some pictures of me wearing it, but it's a great length. Again, it doesn't go too far down in the front, but the length is long, so you feel like it's going to stay on your neck and stay where you put it. The yarn that I used for this one, well, they're both Ancient Arts in their Superwash Merino Silk Fingering. And we have Arctic Midnight, which is this beautiful variegated colors. And then Weimaraner is the gray, and it definitely has like a brownish undertones to it. But it is great. I'm glad that I picked the colors to be this way. When you're wearing it, you just kind of get a little pop of the fun colors, and the gray blends in nicely in a neutral. But when you look up close, you can see the not dropped, it's just the elongated stitches, which was also in this one. So, you know, it seems to be a theme for me lately. Yeah, that is it for finished objects. Let's move on to works in progress. First up, I'm going to show you my socks. I've made some progress on these. They mostly live in my purse, and I knit on them a few rows here and there when I'm waiting for children that I'm driving around. So you can see this blue marker here is where I started for my last episode. So, you know, maybe about 3 centimeters. I'm getting close to the heel placement, so maybe I'll do that this weekend. And I'm on my own for 2 days this weekend, so I'm very excited to get all the knitting time, do all the complicated things for projects when I'm here by myself. I'm doing some fun things with some friends, but you know, for the most of the day part, I'm on my own. So yeah, that are these. These are the pattern for these is Hermione Everyday Socks by Erica Luder, and yeah, it's just a fun pattern on the front. The bottom of the sock, of course, is plain because you know, under your foot. But yeah, I love the yarn both on just in the plain stockinette and with the pattern. I'm just super happy with these. So hopefully the heels will be done and then they can go back in my purse to be just to go around and around as long as I can on the leg. I have a decent amount. I mean, there was 100 grams of this, so I definitely can make some nice tall socks. This yarn is Fireweed Fiber Co. If you haven't been here before, be prepared to see a lot of that on this podcast. And this is her Sweet Pea sock in the colorway Tea Time. So the Sweet Pea sock is superwash, merino, and nylon. So perfect for socks. Next up, I have, and I gotta reach into my giant bag of things. I have the Musselburgh hat that I've been working on. Musselburgh is a pattern by Isolde Teague, and it is a double thick hat that you can knit in pretty much any gauge. And I have made another bit of progress on this. So again, this is kind of my simple knitting when I need to, you know, have my hands busy, but don't really need to think about what's happening. This came to with me to a couple pack meetings recently, because it's just a little bit less fiddly than the socks. So I can really just knit round and round and round, keep my hands busy and focus on the meeting. Yeah, so I'm very happy with this. I've knit a ton of these hats. Some other people have been talking on their podcast about the cast on. So you can do like a pinhole cast in or a cast on or a magic circle or something, and that gets you a bit tighter of a top right in the center there. I just do a long tail cast on for 8 stitches, join in the round, and then once I finish all the increases, I just go back with the tail and kind of close it up. I don't mind having a little bit of a hole there, especially with one that's going to be pretty much worn this way out all the time because it's the same either way. Then, you know, I can actually put a button on it, put a pom-pom on it. Yeah, very happy with this. This is some leftover yarn that I had in my stash. It's Loops and Thread Joy DK in the tropical colorway. And I also have some Lagoon. So, because I'm probably about halfway through the ball of what I had left, and there's definitely some ends and some pieces in there. I'm not going to worry too much about it. And then I have some of the same yarn but in Lagoon left to finish that off on the inside. And if the green is just on the inside, that's fine. You know, maybe I'll do a big stripe and finish that off so you can wear it both directions, or maybe I won't. I don't know. Whatever I feel like at the time. Usually it's like I just knit with the one yarn until I run out, and then if I need more length, then I'll use the other yarn. So pretty flexible there on that one. And since I've knit that hat quite a few times, I have a pretty good idea of like what it's gonna end up like. Lastly is the thing that I have been working on all this week. And I'm so happy with it, you guys. Okay, let's start. And it's going to be hard to show because it's on some try-it-on cord. But look at this. Oh, it's so hard to show. Let's see if I can straighten this out, the front bit out a bit without losing any stitches here. Can you see it better now? This is Snow Wonder by Heidi Kiermaier, and it is a raglan top-down sweater that has this amazing snowflake on the front of it, and it's all done with baubles. Since I saw it, I was like, you know what, I need to have that sweater. I had this gray yarn. It's Cascade 220 in the heathers, so it's worsted weight. Silver gray is the color. It's just, you know, just your regular silver gray. But this yarn, just this texture just pops. I'm trying to hold it up so you can see it, but the baubles are just great. It's working up exactly how I thought it would, and I can't stop working on it. So I have split for sleeves. That's what this red stuff is my try-it-on tubing, which I could only find one piece, so it's all on one, which is kind of why it's all pulling together. But yeah, and it's got a bit of you start in the back of the neck and do some back and forth knitting so that the back is higher than the front, and you'll pick up later and do the collar. Not sure what kind of collar I'm going to do yet. Definitely some ribbing, but probably not a lot. Although this is quite wide for what I normally wear, but I don't like anything too close to my neck on a sweater. I think because I like to wear a shawl over top of my sweater. So I like to have the option on like being warmer or cooler. Anyway, I am using Knit Companion to have the chart. And if you haven't looked at Knit Companion, you need to. If you follow charts for anything, it is so useful. I think it cost me like less than $20 a year to have it on my computer. And I just have my computer beside me, and you just click and it advances the rows. It keeps track of everything. I know exactly what I'm doing. I haven't made any mistakes so far. I'm going to knock on wood. Yeah, I'm so happy with it. So there we go. I talked about the pattern and the yarn, and yeah, expect to see some decent progress on that one as well next time I record. That is it for works in progress. Let's move on to stash. For stash this week, I do have a skein of yarn that has come into my stash, but I didn't purchase it. I won it. Here it is. It is from Area 51 Fibers in their Sturdy Alien base, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. And this is a self-striping sock skein. It does come vacuum packed, which is why it's looking like a little limp right now. I'm terrible at winding yarn into hanks, so I'll probably just wind it up soon. But I am very excited about this. It is also dyed in Canada, so I don't know exactly where they are, but I'm pretty sure they're in Manitoba. I could be wrong. And the color, so the main skein is a Vampire Knitting Club, and then just the coordinating skein to go with it, which is super awesome. I won this from the Downseller Studio Pigskin Party, and yeah, I'm so excited. I'll talk about that more in events. But yeah, I have a feeling this will be on the needles after my tea time socks for sure. All right, that is it for stash. Let's move on to events. For events this week, I just have the Down Cellar Studio Pigskin Party. This started in September and goes to the beginning of February. You can check out the link to their website down below. Basically, it's a knit-along that follows the NFL season, but you don't have to do anything to do with NFL stuff, and you get points based on what you finished. I got the prize that I just showed you in Stash just from being on the chatter threads on Ravelry, so, you know, she has such amazing sponsors for this event and hands out so many prizes. So yeah, it's super fun. You should check it out if you're interested. Pretty much all of the projects that I'm currently working on now that are whips are part of that knit along. And yeah, if you finish like bigger projects, you get like bonus points and stuff. The points do enter you in for the grand prizes at the end, but the participation even is just super fun. Oh, now there's 2 flies. Grr. Well, let's move on to books. Along with casting on new projects recently, or feeling the urge to cast on many new projects, I feel like I've started a bunch of books and now I just have half-finished books all over the place. But I have finished a few. The first one that I finished was The Wallflower Win by Valerie Bowman, and this was another one in the series that I was reading that's Bridgerton-esque, just to set the scene, and it follows some sisters and along with their journey of finding the loves of their lives in England in that time. It's not historical at all. It's just a fun romance, and yeah, this one was again a little bit predictable. There's a couple, you know, surprises, but it has all the emotions, all the feels, and happy ending, so that's good. The next one is The Scorch Trials by James Dashner, and this is the second book in the Maze Runner series. I have read The Maze Runner a long time ago. We recently watched the movie, The Maze Runner, and it just got me interested in that series again, and I listened to that on audiobook, and now I am, of course, waiting for the third book in that one. While I was waiting for that, one of my other library books came off of hold, and that is Finlay, Donovan Knocks Him Dead by Elle Cosimano. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Elle Cosimano. Sorry, there's no I in there. Elle Cosimano. And this is the second book in that series, and it was just as good as the first. If you love a murder mystery, there is a little bit of like blood and gore, but in like a there was a murder kind of way, not like in a horror kind of way. You know, she is an interesting character, and all the people around her just, you know, just so great. The writing is great. The storyline is great. Just everything is great. I love these books. I love them. Again, I listened to that on audiobook. I think I finished that one in 2 days because I was just hooked. Once you get into the storyline, you're just like, you have to know what happens. And then, you know, they figure something out, but then they're wrong. And then they just so good. And there's so many characters back from the first one. It's all good things. Okay, so that is it for my books. And I think that is it for this episode. Hopefully now that the volleyball season has kind of slowed down a bit, where, you know, my work has slowed down a little bit. I have more free time to record, talk to you guys, and keep a little bit more consistent timing wise, but that doesn't always mean that something else might come up. So I just, expect to see a video when you see the next video. I'm trying to do weekly, but that doesn't always work in life. And I am going to go now and go back to work because it's my lunch break. And then I'm going to enjoy my weekend alone. Well, my one child is off at a leadership conference, and my husband and my son are going to Seattle to watch an NFL game. So I'm going to be knitting and sewing and have lots of things to share on the next episode. So we'll see you guys next time. Bye.